In beautiful hadith narrated by Muslims, the Prophet ﷺ says, سَبْعَةٌ يُظِلُّهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظِلِّهِ يَوْمَ لَا ظِلَّ إِلَّا ظِلُّهُ. 7 people will be given a shade in the day of judgment when there is no other shade except that shade given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ says, who are these 7 people? Imamun adil, a just ruler who treats people with dignity and justice, who does not oppress people, who treats people with kindness. The second one, وَشَابٌ نَشَأَ فِي عِبَادَةِ اللَّهِ, a young man or a young woman who spends time not in disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rather in the righteous way, doing righteous thing, reading Quran, memorizing Quran, reading Nahj al-Balagha, reading As-Sahifa As-Sajjadiyya, being close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, waking up for the morning prayer, going to the masjid to pray jama'ah there. Allah loves this kind of person, a young man or a woman who have so many other options, but they choose to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third person Allah loves, وَرَجُلٌ قَلْبُهُ مُتَعَلِّقٌ بِالْمَسْجِدِ إِذَا خَرَجَ مِنْهُ حَتَّى يَعُودْ إِلَيْهِ. A man or a woman who loves being in the masjid. His heart is attached to the masjid, frequently visiting the masjid, trying to perform most of his or her prayers in the masjid. My dear brothers and sisters, there are many ahadith in Islam emphasizing the point that the masjid should be always the center of activity. It should not be empty, should not be kept empty. The masjid purpose is that people would gather there, pray and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to keep it just like a decoration. وَرَجُلَانِ كَانَا فِي طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ فَاجْتَمَعَا عَلَى ذَلِكَ وَتَفَرَّقَا. Allah loves 2 people whose relationship, friendship is not based on interests, personal interests. Rather, what brings these 2 people together is the love of Allah, the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, worshipping Allah. That's what brings these 2 people together. Their friendship is not personal based, rather it is based on serving other people, loving other people, caring for other people, and worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and obeying Him. وَرَجُلٌ ذَكَرَ اللَّهَ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ خَالِيًا فَفَاضَتْ عَيْنَاهُ. The other person that Allah loves is a person who is by himself and he remembers Allah and he fears Allah. He doesn't do this to show off. Rather, this comes naturally out of his heart. You know, there are people who fear Allah publicly only, but secretly they don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Publicly they pretend to be good people, righteous people, but in reality they are not. The hadith says a person who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only publicly, but also secretly and privately, and sheds tears, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would would love such person. وَرَجُلٌ دَعَتْهُ إِمْرَأَةٌ ذَاتُ حَسَبٍ وَجَمَالٍ فَقَالَ إِنِّي أَخَافُ اللَّهِ. Another person that Allah loves is someone who would not indulge in haram sexual activity. Rather, guards himself and guards herself. وَالْأَخِيرُ وَرَجُلٌ تَصَدَّقَ بِصَدَقَةٍ فَأَخْفَاهَا حَتَّى لَا تَعْلَمْ شِمَالُهُ مَا يَتَصَدَّقْ بِيَمِينِهِ. The other person that Allah loves is a person who gives sadaqah, that would not talk about it, would not brag about it, so much so that when your right hand gives sadaqah, don't let your left hand know about it. Don't make it so public. Do that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when you give for the sake of Allah, Allah knows about it, Allah will multiply it for you. But when I do this just to show off, to tell people that I'm generous, I'm giving, I will have no reward with Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may tell me in the day of judgment that why I should give you reward for that. You did this just to show off, to tell people that you're generous, so people can talk about your generosity, and people did. So why I should give you? You did not do that for me, you did it for other people, for others. But when I do something only for Allah, solely for Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves that act.